So I've just noticed a couple of names as guys were signing in. Clement, I must admit, yours was one of them, and Brian, Brian's was one as well. And I think what it has done is it has reminded me just of the journey that we've had in the solar industry. I've known some of you guys for many years. It's nice to still see your names around. So it brings back a lot of memories because there are a lot of you that I have had dealings with in the past and that I know personally. I had a meeting with someone yesterday, and they also reiterated that they have never been involved in an industry that is as turbulent as the solar PV industry. So for those of you who are just joining because you have an interest in solar, welcome to the most turbulent industry that I've also ever been involved in. The industry is either up or it's going down. There's no in between. There are no easy rides. There are certainly no free rides. Every day is a surprise. And just as soon as you think it is settling down, it's not. Something that's of interest that's completely not related to this meeting at all is of course what's going on globally. So I was surprised this morning to hear that India has bombed Pakistan. I know I don't want to get involved in political chats, but what's happening globally is busy having an impact on our market. Because in the same way, I was looking at it this morning and going, wow, how is this going to affect the market in South Africa? And surely the Ukraine-Russia war has been ongoing for a number of years. Nothing much happened, although it did affect our markets, because one of the installations we were involved in, those guys import raw materials from Ukraine, and because of the war, they had issues in acquiring materials and equipment. So it affected our installation because they didn't know where their money was going to be coming from, because they couldn't manufacture the goods they needed to manufacture. So now it's the turmoil in America that's affecting the market locally as far as goods coming from China is concerned. As much as we think it's not going to affect it, going to have a massive impact. And now the Israel war, I don't think had a massive impact, although we have some products coming from Israel and now India. Wow, where's this going and how's it going to affect the market? Okay, guys, it is 7 minutes past. We still have some guys logging in, which is fine as we carry on with the meeting. I think they are welcome to join, and we'll continue admitting them, which is great. I see Reinhard had a link that he submitted for MoneyWeb on the ITAC radio interview. We are going to be discussing tariffs during the course of this meeting. I don't know whether it's really about discussing the tariffs or whether it's just about bringing everybody up to speed. Guys, it's 8 minutes past. I'm 3 minutes overdue for actually starting the meeting. Those of you that have joined late, we haven't started yet, welcome. My name is Carel. I am involved with the association in that I started it. I am also president for the association, so I manage stuff going on stuff coming in, stuff going out, along with Maria and Anne. And then most of you would probably, I hope, regularly speak to a lady by the name of Jocelyn. Jocelyn phones around and gets information and makes sure that you guys feel loved. I hope she does that, and that's the kind of impression that you get. In my days at SESA, which is the Sustainable Energy Society of South Africa, another industry body, one of the things that I think I learned there was to kind of have interaction with members, and that is where Jocelyn steps in. The meeting is being recorded. As per usual, the link is going to be circulated. We do have an agenda. The first item on the agenda is actually to discuss the tariffs. So today's meeting is, if we take a quick look at the agenda, and I'm not sharing it, I'm just mentioning what we're going to be discussing. First item would be tariffs. Second item would be Ralph Barold from Enphase is going to be doing a presentation on the Enphase microinverters. I've got a couple of questions for Ralph already. And then after that, we are going to be looking at what is new in industry, what happened over the last couple of months, kind of maybe an extension of what we started the meeting with. If there are questions, Q&As on stuff that has been happening, like the single phase tester document that was published by the Department of Labor, that would be the right time to have that discussion as well. But that we'll deal with as soon as Ralph has finished his presentation on microinverters. Okay. First item on the agenda. Let's just check. Ralph, are you in the meeting? Yes, Ralph is in the meeting.
Yeah, hi, Carl. I'm there, but I'm ready whenever you are.
I am going to, what I'm going to do, Ralph, is I'm going to make you co-host. What that is going to do, is it's going to give you a bit more freedom. Freedom, yes, we use weird words. It's going to give you a bit more power, even though you're going to have a bit more freedom in activating, switching on, switching off mics and that kind of thing. Actually, you don't have any power at all. It's kind of weird how we conceive power and freedom. It's going to give you freedom because you're going to be able to switch on microphones and stuff like that. But actually, you don't have that much freedom at all because you can get chucked out of the meeting like anybody else. Oh, this is funny. Okay, Ralph. So I'm just going to finish the session on. I'm going to finish the session on tariffs, and then and your microphone obviously works. We've just tested it, so you are good to go. I just want to finish the session on tariffs. So what government has done is they have created a document that was, so the organization responsible for it is ITAC, and ITAC are the guys who oversee everything everything that is imported and exported, and ITAC is responsible for reviewing import tariffs. So ITAC has published a document, and what the government is planning on doing is taxing the, and I don't have a different way of saying it. If you read the document, it clearly indicates that they are taxing the entire solar PV value chain. all the way from solar PV panels through to nuts and bolts, through to even some electrical motors. They are adding import taxes on. Some of the products already have an import tax on them, and those import tax values are going to be adjusted on the upside. So we don't see any relaxation of tariffs. We see an increase in tariffs. And we would like to urge you guys to respond to that. Guys, don't send an email. So in that document, right at the back of the document, they've got an email address that tells you who you need to respond to. If you import nuts and bolts, just respond to the import tax or the import duties on nuts and bolts. What we are going to be doing as AREP is we'll create a framework document that'll give you a guideline that you can use to shape your letter. We are hoping to have that guideline ready within a week, because your submissions are supposed to be in, when did we say? Was it the 20th? Does anybody know? I think we've got a week and then you guys have a week. So our document should be available next week, and then you can use that to submit your document. How these responses work is you are going to, in your response, say, my company is ABC Nuts and Bolts. We import nuts and bolts for the IPP plants, for the independent power producer plants. And we believe that if the import duty is raised from this to this, it's going to have this impact in the market. So you can write an email where you just lose your mind and you just say, I'm sorry, I won't accept this. We are being taxed to death. You guys know the usual Facebook response. They will just ignore that. That is not considered a response. It's not considered as a comment, and they don't even look at it, because there's no information that guides them as to what will happen in the event that this import duty is implemented. So if we can look at the import duty and we can say, in our market, so that would be panels, mounting structure, nuts and bolts, batteries, in our market, if this happens, that is going to be the impact. What government wants to see out of the import duties is that it makes the country viable, or the environment, the business environment viable to motivate local production and local manufacturing. So it's supposed to create jobs. So in your response, if you don't support the increase in taxes, then you need to shape your response around the fact that it's not going to have the desired outcome that government wants to see by increasing tariffs. So you guys have to apply a bit of thinking in the process. Don't get all emotional about it. It's just a thinking game. Think about what your market is like. Think about what the stuff is that affects your industry, and respond to the tariff in that regard. We don't have stuff that we feel we need to hide as far as the tariffs are concerned. So we are probably going to create a document, circulate it to industry, and then you guys can use that as a framework. Don't copy the email. I know you can do lots of things, but don't copy the email and just forward it to the same email address. They are going to get the mail in any event. I have the dog with me in the office. It's out now. They are going to get our email in any case. So take the document. What is my son's in university at the moment? So what he says he does is he takes an AI, like a chat GPT paraphrasing tool. You put it through a paraphrasing tool, so it mixes your words up, puts it through another paraphrasing tool, and he puts it through another paraphrasing tool, and then he edits the content. You guys are welcome to paraphrase the daylights out of our document. Just create the document and submit something so that government gets an indication of what's going to happen to industry. Okay. We are going to have a Q&A session afterwards. If there are questions on the tariff and the tariff structures, you guys are welcome to raise it then. Ralph, are you guys there?
Yeah, hi, I'm ready, Carl. Let me try and share my screen with you.
I hope you can share.
Sure. Let me try here. I'm not so good at Zoom, but
on my side, it says multiple participants can share simultaneously. So you should have the ability to share. I'm going to switch my video off.
Okay. Tell me if you can see my screen.
I can absolutely see your screen.
Oh, great. Good. Okay. Good news. Carel, I was thinking about your problem of freedom and power. And, it strikes me that in South Africa today, we have a lot of freedom, but we don't have enough power, right? So, I think that we need to solve that problem as an industry. So I know that you've done great to help us, to lead us in the industry. So great for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity. Also to Marisha for allowing us to speak. I'm not going to bore you and keep you guys long. I just want to give you all members a sense of what we think is the future of solar energy, and that's microinverters. And whether it's our microinverters or other microinverters, we believe that AC power is the future of the industry, and I'll give you a sense of that. I have got some slides. I'll start slow, but I'll whip through the last ones so that I don't bore you. Just to get your attention, let me first ask you a question. How much are you currently paying for electricity in your house per kilowatt hour? You don't have to all say it once, but I would imagine it's something more than 2 Rand, more than 3 Rand in some cases, and it's very quickly going to be more than 4 Rand. And I would like to suggest to you that what we need to do as an industry looking at residential solar is show the financial advantages of putting more solar onto our homes, whether we have solar to start with or whether we are starting the journey from the beginning. And that is a good financial proposition for every South African and every home in South Africa. And I would challenge you to say that I've done some calculations, and probably using our microinverter systems, we could offer as little a cost as 40 cents per kilowatt hour, guaranteed for 25 years. And we could probably get that up to 50% of your consumption. So I think that residential solar has a huge amount to offer in the country, and it's not just the big projects that are getting down in terms of the value for money. So about Enphase, so I'll just give you a quick overview about Enphase. Enphase is an American company. It's a technology company headquartered in Silicon Valley in California. We develop microinverters, solar microinverters, and battery energy storage. And we also do EV charging stations for residential use. We were founded in 2006, and we listed on the NASDAQ, which is one of the stock exchanges in the US. We are one of the leaders of solar tech in the world, having many patents and many hours. You can see on the right-hand side, we've shipped more than actually 80 million microinverters to 4.5 million customers, and that is houses, in the last 18 years. We have over 400 patents, and we are in our 8th generation and looking into the 9th generation of microinverters, which we develop. We have a strong market share in the US, typically more than 35-40% market share for residential solar. In Europe, we have very strong markets like in France and Netherlands and Germany and UK. Australia is also a very strong market for us. And we are growing in emerging markets like Brazil, India, and South Africa. Still early days in those other markets. What do? We do residential solar, solar inverters, and those are in what we call the IQ8s right now. It's like, think of it like Apple. We're on our 8th generation of our microinverters. I'll talk to you briefly about the IQ8s. We also have introduced a battery system worldwide, and we're one of the strongest battery suppliers in the US right now for battery systems. I'll talk a little bit about the battery, not too much today. We also do commercial solar inverters using the same microinverters, but for commercial applications, it's very much the same architecture and design as required. And we also do EV chargers and portable battery systems, which are not yet introduced to South Africa. We also have a software platform which provides the intelligence and analysis and monitoring of the entire fleet. As I mentioned, more than 4.5 million customers which are under management around the world. Some of our key selling points are quality, premium quality. In actual fact, our microinverters are built for more than 50 years of life. So you have an asset which is going to perform long term. It's designed to do that. And that's underwritten by a 25-year warranty for the microinverters, which conveniently matches the warranty for the performance warranty on solar panels. So once you've put solar panels and microinverters on your roof, you've got a warranted asset which should be looked after by the warrantors for more than 25 years. Fire safety is another major factor. I'll get into in a moment. Performance is a strong selling point. Reliability, we have a very high quality product which has less than 1 in 2,000 fault rate. And we have a very strong customer support organization, 24/7. You can speak to, as an installer, you can speak to Enphase to see what's going on site or answer any questions you have. And your customers as well can speak to the customer support helpline. Some of the advantages, I'll just go into a bit more detail. As I mentioned, more yield. So that's really performance. And for every given project, you should have better performance than a typical string inverter. And that's due to the fact that we can generate in low light conditions, such as semi-shaded conditions, multifaceted roofs, and we're able to optimize on the efficiency at a module level for every single project. We can also see, and this comes to the question of reliability, that on every single solar panel, on every microinverter, there's no single point of failure. So if there is a failure, it doesn't take down the entire plant. It's only a portion of the plant which has gone down. So if you had 20 microinverters on the roof for 20 panels, one of those panels is failing, or the microinverter has failed, or the connection is faulty, and the other 19 will be working well. So that increases the uptime of the entire plant, and therefore also the return on investment that the plant gets over its life. We have pre-wired cables, eliminates the need for human error. As you know, connections and MC4s is a real cause of trouble, and that also means fewer call-outs to site. So typically systems and faults can be analyzed remotely, and that saves more time for an installer to get to the site. And if there is a fault, they will know exactly where the fault lies, what is the cause, in which particular panel or row or array the fault is, and you'll be able to resolve that quickly. As I mentioned, the 25-year warranty is built on the strength of the product, the quality, and you'll find that the microinverters are very well resistant to higher temperatures, which is an important point to make. As there are many more microinverters in the market right now and coming up, Enphase has decided to keep going one panel to one microinverter rather than 2 panels to 1 microinverter, which would have been a cheaper option, or 4 panels to 1 microinverter. And the reason for that is in terms of temperature resistance long term. When you start to get heat under the panels, obviously the electrical efficiency does weaken, and also the duration, the longevity of the product starts to decline. So you're not able to offer the long warranty. So in terms of temperature resistance, we're very strong. From a fire safety perspective, and that's therefore a better risk profile for fire safety and also for risk of human injury. AC power is much safer than DC high voltage cables and connections. And that's because you're reducing the risk of a DC arc. And also you're able to, if there is an incident with a short or a human a safety issue, typically you're not facing the risk of electrocution from high voltage DC, which is an issue. We also have built-in rapid shutdown. Rapid shutdown is an important piece of, let's say, standard for solar systems, which will become increasingly important in South Africa. If there's an incident in the building, it doesn't necessarily have to be caused by the solar, then we can rapidly shut down the entire system, not so with a typical DC array. And then I just wanted to give you a sense of what we're doing in South Africa, just 4 use cases. Number one is really starting small with a small system of maybe 3 or 4 microinverters, 1 per panel, and this is a grid-tied system. And effectively, we're doing this to offset the cost of a conventional electrical geyser or water heater. So rather than replacing the geyser with an existing geyser, you can basically size the PV array and the microinverters to offset the cost of your geyser. And especially if you're able to then bring the geyser load into the daytime hours through a smart timer, such as a Plentify hotbot or something similar, then you're able to get maximum energy from the solar panels going into the geyser, and you're able to also use additional power you have for any daytime loads, water heating, pool pump, refrigeration, etc., etc. And we believe this is a very exciting market because we're able to offer the high quality equipment at quite a low price, starting at about 12,000 Rand. And it's a huge market. There's by some estimates, more than 8 million existing quick-hot type of geysers, in the market in South Africa. And there's definitely a business for small-scale PV to serve that market. And it's affordable for customers. Similarly, we are putting together packs of as little as 6 microinverters, and we're able to do that using the 2 different kinds of micros that we have. This kind of pack includes the microinverters, the gateway, which is the communications device, the relay, CTs, and our app, which supports the entire system. That is warranted for 25 years, and we'll have a fantastic return on investment for the customer. As I said, they should be able to get to approximately 50% of their energy savings, and therefore bring down, or let's say prepay, the cost of electricity for 25 years. Maybe the payback is 5 years, and they will have 20 years of guaranteed free electricity. So we're quite excited about offering that. We can also, and this is the next slide, we can also use those kind of grid-tied bundles to couple with existing inverters in the market. So Victron is one in which we've done quite a lot of work with integration. And as you know, AC coupling is where you're able to plug in on the AC output of the Victron. We can also do this, by the way, with SunSync and DAE residential inverters, where we plug into the generator port. And that allows for additional solar supply at a very high efficiency, and it's a safer array because of the AC cabling and pre-wired cables compared to the DC array. And you're able to then take advantage of solar performance in low light conditions and to expand existing systems. So whether it's a new project or an expansion onto an existing system where you have a big daytime load, or an additional safety upgrade to an existing system, perhaps you are looking at the safety issues on that system, then you could replace all of the cables with AC cables and have the advantages of AC solar compared to the risk of DC solar. And last but not least is our battery system, which we have introduced into South Africa. It is one of the leading batteries in the world. And we're proud of the specifications. The battery has a 15-year warranty. It's an integrated Enphase inverter/battery product. So with the home controller, the system controller, we're able to provide AC in and AC out of the battery. And that's, again, the philosophy of safety. We have one of the highest safety ratings for that battery in Europe, which is the UL rating. And we're able to do a lot of cool stuff with this battery. That battery is a 5 kilowatt hour unit, which has a 3.8 kVA continuous output, but can go to 200% for peak power for a couple of seconds. So that 5 kilowatt hour unit up to 7.7 kVA peak can be reproduced. You can have two of them together, double the capacity. You can go up to 8 of them together in an AC parallel circuit. And we use our system controller to control the grid switching. And also we do some clever stuff like we're able to control loads through the app and also configure the different algorithm that you want to for the different loads from your mobile. So that's really for the top end of the market. It's not a cheap product, but it's probably arguably the best battery you can buy in 2025 in South Africa for home residential solar. We will also later this year bring the 3-phase version of the same, which is selling fast in Europe, and we'll bring the 3-phase version to South Africa. So you can have this 3-phase output out of the same battery, or you can put 2, 3, up to 8 of these batteries together and get quite a lot of power and a lot of energy for that battery. So that's where I'd like to leave you. If you have more interest about Enphase, you're welcome to contact me on those details below. I'll also post them in the notes of this meeting. And we also have quite a good website in South Africa, which is quite user-friendly. And there's training opportunities, any data sheets or product questions you have. I will also post some videos for Enphase onto the AREP group. So looking forward to hearing from you. If you're interested to engage with Enphase, it would be lovely to meet you.
Ralph, thank you very much. I have, before you disappear, I have a quick question. I don't know what's causing that echo. So I have a quick question for you. The largest Enphase system in South Africa used to be the one on the KPMG building. So while you were busy talking, I made a couple of notes. What is
good. Someone was listening.
What's the largest Enphase installation at the moment?
We have, I'm going to answer that in two ways. We have a project in Durban, which is 720 odd micros on a single site, 3-phase for a factory. That was done by JEPS in KwaZulu-Natal. Great project. That's the largest single site. But we have another fantastic project which is in the Northern Cape, which was 11 different sites of approximately 100 micros each. So that's one particular customer that has one large site. It's approximately 400 kilowatts ground mounted system for an ESCOM connection. And yeah, he's very happy with that project. That's the biggest one. So that's about over 1,000 microinverters together. But there's 11 sites, so each site is managed as its own project.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you very much. What was the other one? I had a guy who phoned me during the week. It was a guy by the name of George. I've seen we've got a couple of Georges in the meeting at the moment, and George just wanted to know. So I maybe it's just a coincidence, Ralph, but I always have one of your.
Great.
I always have a product in the office. So George wanted to know what the difference was between an optimizer and a microinverter.
Good question. Yeah.
If it's the right George that's in the meeting at the moment, so the optimizer is going to take DC in and DC out, whereas the microinverter, and this is the Enphase, but this is the IQ7. The microinverter is going to take DC in and push AC out. So you've got a microinverter on the roof with every panel, whereas with your optimizers, it's DC to DC.
Correct. So let me just add to that. So with the optimizer system, you're still running a DC system. You're just getting more energy out of every panel, right? And I think even the panel industry is going that direction, where they get more energy under semi-shaded conditions, etc. But with a microinverter system, all of the real work of the system happens at the microinverter level, and then you've got 230-volt AC that you can use from there. So all of the cabling is AC on the system, and you have, we believe that that's the transition that's going to happen in the future across the industry. You see many brands are coming with microinverters now. And there's the reason for that, and that's safety. And another one is just getting more intelligence from every single. You've basically got you've got a microchip which is able to sense the conditions on every single panel and has a history, so you can tunnel into that at any time and find out exactly what's happening on the system without going to the site and taking measurements, etc.
Thanks, Ralph. I think there's one more thing that I've been asked, which I want to cover quickly. It's related to your product. So the microinverter, I'm busy creating an online training video, and over the last 2 weeks I've been looking at inverters, which is why I've got this stuff with me, and the difference between the microinverter and a normal old-fashioned standalone inverter is that this one can synchronize to the grid and push power back, and there are actually still a lot of guys involved in the sector, or new guys coming into the sector who don't know this. So this one connects to the grid and it synchronizes and it can push power back, whereas this one, you shouldn't be connecting to the grid. It is small, but it's not a micro inverter. This is a kind of a standalone inverter that you connect directly to the battery. But the one that even the battery that you guys were talking about, Ralph, is an AC battery. So
that's correct.
It's got its own inverter inside. So you'd basically produce AC on the roof, push it into your battery, and inside the battery, it will convert it back to DC, but everything's contained in the unit. And then I heard you've got a solution for a geyser for about 12 grand, which I believe is a fairly good price for a unit that can provide supporting power for heating up a geyser.
Yeah. So Yeah, I think it's more than 2 weeks we've been looking at inverters, probably two decades, Carl. Um, so I'm glad that you're still excited by these things. Uh, uh, in terms of
Yeah.
water heating, look, water heating is a great opportunity in this country. I think the opportunity is really around grid tied solar, and we can do a lot with grid tied solar. As you know, the market has been focused on hybrid inverters, which have got a battery for backup, and for obvious reasons, we needed that. But increasingly, I think there is a developing market for grid tied solar. Obviously, we get the big power plants and the commercial plants, but even at a residential level, if you're able to generate X amount of your own power, you're going to save a lot of money in the next 25 years. So, whether that grid tied solar is powering, in real time, your water heater or your refrigeration or your pool pump, whatever your loads are during the daytime, it's going to save you energy and it's going to save you money. And the financial returns are dramatic, off the charts. I mean, as I mentioned, if we could get down, we can get down to a price of about 40 cents per kilowatt hour over 25 years, compared to where do you think the electricity price is going, right? Very quickly. And the financial returns are going to be typically over 35-45% return. So rather than putting the money into something else, put the money into an asset which is a green power asset on your roof, and it's going to have that financial return to the customer. It's going to save money for the customer. So yeah, we're quite excited about that opportunity. I think there's a huge fleet of water heaters around the country, something like more than 8 million water heaters. And if we're able to power those water heaters without even touching them with solar PV, that's going to be a massive benefit for the homeowners and for the larger economy, and that will be can solve our big issues that we deal with: decarbonization as a country, shifting beyond the aging coal fleet, and there's a huge potential for that, and also just helping everyday man save money on his monthly bill.
Ralph, that kind of leads us into the next section. I see Mark Williams asked a question about the efficiency loss on your inverters. You can answer that in a minute. I want to step into the next topic, and then we can maybe cover that question in the Q&A session. And the next topic is kind of where the market is at the moment. And while you were talking about the opportunities there are in the market, I was thinking of Brian. So Brian has created a solution that focuses on saving energy through heating and cooling. You can build an ice bank. So let's say you look at a dairy, for example. They've got a lot of cooling or refrigeration requirements, and those refrigeration requirements are typically in the morning before the sun comes up. So one way of dealing with that is to build an ice bank, and then you can build the ice bank during the day, and then the following morning you filter whatever you need to filter through heat exchangers in an ice bank, instead of having to switch on air conditioning or refrigeration units. So there are lots of innovative ideas and lots of energy solutions that will be able to save your customers money. And I think where we are at the moment is, as long as we don't have a load shedding environment, customers are not going to buy into a solar system if you're trying to sell them a battery storage unit, unless you can show them that the battery energy storage unit is going to save them money in future. Now, at the moment, where we are with batteries, we have quite a couple of municipalities where energy out of batteries are cheaper than the energy that you'd be buying directly from the municipality, especially if you start looking at different rates and different periods, different, even if you start looking at different costs like the demand charges. So where the market is at the moment is the portion of the market that is going to find your solution attractive is the portion that can put an accounting or a financial figure to it. Something that amazes me is when the solar industry started out years and years and years ago, there was a massive focus on what kind of panel are you installing? Is it going to be Jinko? Is it JA? Is it Canadian? Is it this? We've had a lot of customers insisting on specific brands. Where the market has moved to, nobody cares about the brand. If you pitch a solution or a proposal, there might be a question across the table or in the boardroom where the guys go, by the way, what brand equipment are we talking about? But it will be as a side note. It won't be the thing driving the sale. The thing driving the sale would be an accounting calculation that shows the guy what the paid back and the return on investment is going to be. Guys, I think that is what I wanted to mention as far as the industry is, where the industry is at the moment, and I believe we are still going to be here for a while. So you are going to have to not necessarily sharpen your pencils, but understand where your market is moving to and adapt your business to move into to move in according with the changes in the market. So wrap your head around energy, start understanding how to calculate energy and energy related costs and how to change your business model from a power security model to a money saving model. That'll open up a lot of projects for you. So what I'm seeing at the moment is the commercial and industrial sector is still fairly vibrant. I think the residential sector is, from what I've heard, so I hear contrasting views. I hear some guys saying, well, the market is really picking up. I don't see that. I don't see the market picking up. So maybe for certain customers in a certain price bracket in certain areas, you might have the market picking up on the residential side. But as far as commercial industrial is concerned, it definitely makes sense to start creating solutions that are a bit outside of the box, because it's the outside of the box solutions that your competitors are not going to be thinking of. Guys, buy yourself data loggers. Buy a data logger that can measure harmonics, power factor. Harmonics is going to become a massive thing. If it's not a massive thing already, but nobody understands it, so nobody pitches it. Buy yourself a meter that can measure harmonics, and then you measure the harmonics in your installation before you do the solar system, and you measure it after you've done the solar system. There's no point in measuring the harmonics in a residential installation. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see, but the customer is not going to be paying for any changes. Whereas in a commercial industrial environment, you'd be able to fit a active harmonic filter. Everything is becoming plug and play, automated. What I find as far as an engineering level is concerned, it's almost as if things are becoming easier to connect, but more difficult to understand. So it's easy to connect, harder to control. It's easy to connect I'll give you an example. It's easy to connect, it's easier to connect an active harmonic filter than a power factor correction bank. They can kind of do the same thing. So it's easy to connect because the active power filter is driven by a microprocessor. So it knows what it has to do and it does it. But it's more difficult to control because you need to understand what it is it's doing. So for example, you can't fit a active harmonic filter onto a connection where the customer's transformer is running at its limit, because the active harmonic filter pushes more harmonics into the system. So it will overload a transformer as something that you think is going to be a solution. Now I've got people arriving at home. Maybe I should just close the door. Sorry, guys. We've got 6 minutes left in the meeting. Something we perceive to be a solution turns into a liability. So it's easy to get the solution, but it almost becomes, it has stepped up the level of technicality. So it's made it easier for guys to get into the sector, but it's made guys who understand how these types of equipment work, it gives them an ability to go back and fix stuff. Because the guys who opt for the easy solutions end up blowing stuff up. So it makes it easier, but it makes it more complex. Kind of freedom when you don't have, and the power when you don't have. Kind of the theme we started when we started this. Okay. Guys, any questions?
Yeah, to answer that question about efficiency, Carel, I just had a look at the spec sheet. There's something called inverter maximum efficiency that says 97.4%. But then there's something called European weighted efficiency. We're at 96.8%. And just one, that's very technical. You guys, other people will know better than me what that means. But just a comment on efficiency when it comes to residential loads. If you think about it, while you are not at the house, let's say you're going to work during the daytime, your actual loads in the house are very low. It can be in a couple of hundreds of watts, not kilowatts, right? So it's important that you also look at efficiency under low load conditions. If you're putting in a big Sunsync 12 or 8 kilowatts inverter, it only becomes more efficient when it's operating, at a decent couple of kilowatts of load, right? So that's a plus that we found with microinverters, that we're able to actually generate more efficiently at smaller loads. Anyway, that's my point on efficiency.
Ralph, thank you very much. I see we have one loaded question from Buddy Song. Buddy Song says, what would you suggest a reasonable blended PPA tariff for, say, let's say 100 megawatt solar plant, and let's throw in a 50 megawatt battery energy storage system for a municipality, as well as the recommended dual tariffs for solar and BESS for the same? Buddy Song, I would have loved to give you an answer. That is so the municipal tariff thing is difficult, because you're going to have a meeting with the municipality. So yeah, you're kind of stepping into the verge of an energy and a power management system, and not only an energy management system, but a complex energy management model. With municipalities, you'll find that you are going to have to crunch the numbers. You're going to have to look at their load profile and their tariff structure, and then you're going to say, guys, this 50 megawatt BESS system that I've got is going to, if we utilize it in this peak period that you have over here, we can bring that rate down by 25% by using our energy management system. So when you start working with municipalities, the way you pitch the project and what you're selling becomes different to when you pitch for a commercial industrial client, especially on that scale, because these guys are reselling the electricity, and what they would fall over their feet for is a solution that can curb their peak demand. For the size of system that you were referring to, you should be able to curb their peak demand. So that would be where your business model should be focusing on. It's unfortunately, I would have loved to give you an answer on rates, but yeah, sorry. You're going to have to crunch the numbers, and you can let me know what they are when you've done it. That should make for an interesting case study. Gideon says, thanks. I don't know whether Gideon is still in the meeting. Ian says, power quality equipment is not cheap. It costs $100,000 for a Fluke 435. Guys, there are local guys that manufacture, so you don't. It depends on where you are in the market and what you want to do. So you don't have to start off with 100,000 Rand Fluke. You can start off with something. Most of us are only trying to wrap our heads around what harmonics is and how it works. So don't start off thinking that you need to spend 100 grand on a tester. What is there's a French brand that is insanely good. I can't think of their name now. But you'd be able to buy a power quality analyzer, Chavin Anu. Chavin, CHAUVIN. And I don't remember whether it has. So Chavin Anu is an insane tester. They have a cheaper version of their tester, which just doesn't have the Chavin Anu sticker on it, for half the price of their meters. And then Ian says Kairitsu is good. Yeah, Kairitsu is very good. Also has a lifetime warranty, obviously until you break it. Guys, Johnny Barnard says the ME440 power analyzer. Jason wants to know any details on single phase testers. Guys, as a single phase tester, you are, and you have always been allowed to sign off solar powered single phase installations. The letter we circulated from the Department of Labor confirms that. We do have some municipalities that have kind of fallen for the information that was circulated on social media. So they are, I know, Cape Town, for example, and was it Mossel Bay or George, are kind of sticky about it, but we are busy chatting to them, and we hope to have some feedback on that. But single phase testers are definitely allowed to sign off. On that letter, you have the name at the Department of Labor of the guy that can be contacted, and you have his number. Do yourself a favor and phone the guys. Don't wait for me to do it. You've got the number, you've got the name, they've got the details. Get the municipality to phone the guys at the Department of Labor so that they can clear the facts. Then thanks, Johnny and Ian, for the input on the testers and the loggers. Guys, it's 3 minutes past 12. We have to, unfortunately, conclude the meeting. It was only scheduled for an hour. I've got another meeting coming up, so I'm going to have to run. Buddy Sung says he's developed a financial model which for solar comes in at R1.85 per kilowatt hour and BESS at R2.50 per kilowatt hour. So, Buddy Sung, you must have a look at your tariffs, because I think 185 for a municipality is very high. And you should be able to get it significantly lower than that, and even R2.50 per kilowatt hour for the BESS. So, but then again, maybe your tariff is only linked to a 10-year period, payback period, and not a 25-year payback period. So municipalities, commercial and environment guys tend to look at the shorter term. 10 to 15 years is not that short, but the longer you make, Ralph, for example, spoke about 40 cents per kilowatt hour. So I'm assuming Ralph would have mentioned the 40 cents per kilowatt hour over the 25-year period. So, Buddy Sung, that's interesting. If you are interested in sharing how you got to that model, we'd be happy to have you present at the next members meeting. Guys, if you have interesting stuff you want to share with us, maybe Brian can share with us what he's done with his ice machine. I'm just calling it ice machine as a kind of a light-hearted thing. But if you have information you'd like to share with the members during a meeting, please contact us. We'd like to have your interaction. We enjoy seeing what you guys are doing, and it would be amazing to have your feedback on what's going out there, what you guys are involved with, and how smart you are, and what it is you are selling. So that's amazing. Thank you very much. Ian says a meeting highlighting SSEG registration would be great. Ian, we've had a couple with Eskom. I'm sure we can have another few. Just we'll keep Eskom out of it. Okay. That's excellent. Thanks, Brian. Okay, guys, that brings us to the end of the meeting. I'm going to conclude the meeting. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your month. The meeting will be available as a recorded meeting, and you guys are welcome to share the link. Thank you very much. Keep well. Bye.